Hey friends, I wanted to talk about some resources this morning, me and Cosmo. I have to keep him here or he barks and makes crazy things. I was reading this morning from this book, The Healing Intelligence of Essential Oils by Kurt Schnaubelt, and I will put a link in above this video just of all the resources I'm going to show you this morning. But this one made me think, my science friends who are just really aching for deeper information about how essential oils work and why the pharmaceutical world hasn't embraced them. So just a quick synopsis of something that I read this morning was, in the pharmaceutical world, they're always trying to isolate the one thing that they can see its impact. And so they want to be able to replicate that in study after study after study of one tiny compound. And the thing with essential oils is what makes them effective is their holistic plant bioconstituents. They're quite complex. And the complexity of them is what makes them work so well. But they're not easy to study from a reductionist standpoint. So for those that are doing research in a reductionist way, essential oils don't fit. They just don't fit the paradigm. But there's been extensive studies on essential oils for lots of different reasons. One of the first things that was studied was the antibacterial properties of a bunch of oils. And then they looked at their effectiveness with viruses and funguses. And so they've been studied since about 1800. And the French seem to be leading a lot of that study. And so the interest in essential oils has really grown as we've seen how effective they are for lots of different reasons. And so they work really in harmony with our complex body systems. And so just like it's frustrating to go to the doctor and feel like you're only allowed to talk about one piece of your puzzle, so I can talk about headaches, and then I can go to a headache specialist and they will take an MRI and they can tell me if there's any reason for, like, is there a brain thing or something going on that's creating headaches. And when I went down that road, they basically said, okay, the only thing we see is a malformation that might be putting some pressure there, maybe try some massage. And then when I started to cry about how the headaches had created just a shadow over my life, like I had a beautiful life. I loved homeschooling my kids. I loved being the homemaker, taking care of meals and loving being part of ministry with my husband. But the headaches created this constant sort of pressure and shadow that just made my days hard. And so I remember crying in her office, and so then she just handed me an antidepressant. And so I walked out with a script for that and then just went, you know what, I don't think that's my issue. And so I didn't actually end up, well, I did a low dose antidepressant for a little while and didn't notice any difference. So then I stopped taking it. So I feel like this one thing, like the headaches were just a piece of my big puzzle. And so my favorite experience was actually sitting for 2 hours with a naturopath who just wanted to know. She just kept saying, what else? What else? What else? And she just kept putting the pieces together and allowed me to connect with my story in a really significant way. So anyway, I got off on a little tangent there, but this book will explain to a science background how essential oils work in the body and why they're effective, and the holistic way that they work with our emotional sort of part of the body, the mind-body connection. They seem to work really holistically. And so what we find is as we start using them, we just start to feel like our health improves on all kinds of levels, and there's benefits that we weren't using them for, but we find that we get the benefits anyway. So I have found my health just keeps getting higher, like I just keep improving as I use them. So if you want to know more about the science, I would suggest that book. If gut issues are huge for you and you're trying to understand how to lift the toxic burden off your body and help your gut heal, this is a really excellent book by two doctors who have used essential oil protocols to help with the liver and the digestive tract and all the different cleansing organs of the body really effectively. And so I have found this quite helpful. I find, they have so much information in here. I tend to I pick one. So it's like, okay, I'm going to work on the digestive system. And then I just sit with that part of the book for a while, and I don't try to read everything else because it's too much. But use resources as you wish. And then this little guy is probably my favorite for all people who are experimenting with essential oils because, so this is an older pocket reference. It's the 6th edition. The 7th edition is still available, but it might go out of print soon. But I love it because this one is specifically for Young Living oils and specifically will tell you about every blend, what's in the blend, why it was chosen to put in the blend, though I think they might have taken that out in the next edition. So for instance, with an oil like, let's look up one of my favorites. Release is one of my favorites. So, well, actually, I just passed Endoflex. That's definitely a fave. Okay, so it will tell you that the ingredients are sesame seed oil and spearmint and sage, and so it breaks down all the ingredients, but then it says why it's there. So spearmint is known to increase metabolism. It has a hormone-like activity to support nervous and glandular systems. And sage was included because it strengthens the energy centers of the body. And so they will say why it was put in there and then how to use it. And so it will say, if you're going to apply, then put it with a carrier oil. And it will say what dilution. So all of that information is quite helpful when you're trying to figure out, how do I use this new oil that I got, and what is the safe way to apply it if I want to use it topically. Almost all oils are safe to diffuse, but even then you might find some of them bother you when they're diffused, and so maybe applying them to your feet is better because the scent isn't what you're looking for right now. If you're trying to impact emotional health, then there's another book I want to show you. Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. This is by Carolyn Mean, and she actually has quite a good website too with some videos if you prefer video information. So she just shows you how a lot of emotions are linked to specific locations where they tend to land in the body. So you can either look at the body system you're struggling with or the emotion that you can't seem to lift out. And so for instance, anger often gravitates to a liver kind of area. And so by applying the oil to the liver, they know the ones that are specifically helpful for supporting liver and supporting those emotions. And it can help release it so that you can get better health in those areas. So she's a psychologist, I believe. DC. She has a degree in chiropractic, acupuncture, bionutrition, and is a fellow American Council of Applied Clinical Nutrition. And she has a private practice of applied kinesiology as well. So she has, put together her research in a neat way. I find it helpful as I've been dealing with trying to release trauma and the places where it has landed in my health. And sometimes I just haven't even been aware that some of the headaches and things have actually had an emotional root. And so as I deal with the emotional stuff, then I tend to find I actually get relief and I stop holding tension in the same ways. And so massage, things like that with the oils and applied to places where they actually really benefit those body systems is kind of a neat multi-discipline approach for looking at how to release trauma from the body and the emotions. And so that has been a helpful book. If Ningxia is something that you've been loving and you're finding the energy and the focus and the brain clarity and all of the good things that those are the main things that I experience. And you want to know the background and where this wolfberry came from and how it has been researched. This book is very complete and so has a great sort of picture of how, if you're just looking for a one-step full body nutrient infusion, why this is a great choice. And so if you want a simple button and you don't want to worry about oils and stuff, but you would like to find a way to increase your health, it's a great place to start. And then hormones, women's hormones. So Dr. Leanne Deardriff and David Deardriff again worked together, just like Inner Transformations. They worked together on a book on hormones to explain how to support our hormone systems using essential oils. And so that was a game changer for me. And then if animals are your passion and you want to learn to support your fur babies with gentle, effective ways. For instance, my poodle has a very sensitive digestive system. And so we'll have a day when he'll stop eating. And if I start applying the pet tummy support to his belly during that time, and he will actually come and ask me for it. Like he kind of crouches and puts his tummy up so that I can do it. So I just put a tiny bit of oil on the tips of my fingers and rub it in a little bit. It's very diluted for him because he's a tiny poodle. So it's just a tiny bit of the essential oil in quite a bit of a carrier oil. And then I would just rub it on his belly, just pet him. And then I use the raindrop roller again on my fingers. I rub it mostly in my fingers, but then I just pet his spine. And so that's become our way to just help him support his digestive system. And always within about 12 hours, he's back to eating again. So, and there are times when I wonder, oh, maybe he's got something like a bug or something he picked up. And so we just do it every day for a little while until we see that resolve. So, yeah, there are simple ways we can care for our pets that are safe. So if you want the complete lowdown on how to treat an animal, because animals all have different systems. Cats are the most complicated with essential oils, but this has all the animal species and different ways that veterinarians have found very helpful, safe applications for using essential oils there. So if all of that is overwhelming and you're like, I don't want books, I don't want to read, but I want some resources, then probably your best bet is we have this awesome team app put out by Courtney Kreitz called Baby Step. Well, it's from her Baby Steps team. It's the Life Steps app. And I can put the link again in this. I know I mention it often in the group. And that is for anybody who already has a Young Living account that's a member on our team. You just automatically get access to that. And it's like a team Google. It has classes that are video classes. It has courses you can take that are all written out in bite-sized chunks so that you can, finish them at your own pace. It has tons and tons of resources and input from people that have been using essential oils for 20 plus years. So that has become our Team Google, much more reliable information than I've been able to find by just searching in a Google search. So Team Google is our Life Steps app, and great, very specific, helpful information from people who have been doing this a long time. So you can search up in there. So those are the resources for today. And I guess the other benefit of being part of the Young Living sort of structure is you also have the resources of the people that are on our team. So I'm right here, would love to support you, but I also have a whole team above me of people that have been doing this a lot longer than me and are people I can lean into and people that you can contact. So we have Facebook groups and Instagram accounts with some highlights. Yeah, some people are really good at those. I haven't really built up my Instagram account much yet. And I started a YouTube channel with a few videos, but I haven't got very far with that either. My Facebook group is probably the most sort of full way to connect with things that I'm learning. But also my website has a blog where I've been just putting things as we experience them. So those are all team resources that are free. So feel free to lean into those, and for sure just reach out to me anytime you like. If I'm not doing office hours at that time, I'll just schedule something with you to catch up with you when it works. Okay? So have a good day, friends.